is a place that is spoken about only in whispers. A dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends. A place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view. But when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Good evening and welcome back to the Darkness on the Edge of Town radio show. I'm Dave Schrader, your host. Along with me this evening, we've got Tim Dennis, producer and co-host of the show. We've got a great show for you coming up. We were able to get a fantastic guest. She is the actual inspiration for the television show on CBS, Ghostwhisperer, and she has been able to actually speak with and communicate with spirits since a very early age. With us this evening, we have Ann Winkowski. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Well, welcome to the show, and thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Now, Ann, before we get started, you are the inspiration for the show. Does that mean a lot of the shows are based on actual events and accounts that have happened to you?
Or work that I've done.
Okay, fair enough. Now, the one thing that kind of baffled me when we spoke earlier, you're not a psychic, you're not a medium, so can you explain exactly what it is that allows you to speak and see the spirits that the rest of us can't, and, you know, what the difference is between a psychic, a medium, and what you do?
Okay, I'm a paranormal investigator. I determine, basically, when somebody calls me up, if they've actually got ghosts in the house or squirrels in the attic. Okay, you know, one or the other.
Sure.
A psychic can tell your future or tell, you know, something that is going to happen. I certainly cannot do that. A medium or clairvoyant, and these are my definitions, this is what I believe them to be. They speak to spirits that have already crossed over, not earthbound ones, which are the spirits that I see and talk to. And there is definitely a difference.
All right, excellent. Now, how do the spirits that you deal with make their presence known to you? Is it simply in a visual form, like the TV show Ghost Whisperer, or is it more audible?
Nope, it's exactly the way it is that you see Melinda doing it every week. I see them exactly the way they looked when they died. Now, the body is what is mangled. That's, you know, and again, they really embellish because it's television and it's entertainment. You know, it's entertainment. But I don't see them mangled or their heads being carried or them puking. The bodies are what is hurt or, you know, died in a car accident or missing parts and pieces. The spirit is always whole. Now, if somebody, when they were healthy, weighed 180 pounds and because of a long lingering illness, you know, when they died, they were down to 120 pounds, they're still going to be thin, but they are not going to have, you know, they're not going to be yucky looking as far as bloody or gory or anything like that. And when I talk to them, I do not have to talk out loud. It's all done mentally, and in some instances, that's probably a good idea. But
sure.
So I don't have to, like Melinda on the show has to speak out loud to them, which really looks a little silly sometimes, standing on a street corner talking to nothing. But again, that's television. I do not have to do that.
Okay, so you can just speak with them in your mind.
Correct.
See, now that's where the confusion comes in for me, and I think a lot of the listeners. You can speak to them in your mind, and you can see them when the rest of us can't. Mm-hmm. How is that not a psychic ability?
See, because my definition of a psychic is a person that gets information that they give to somebody to tell them what's going to happen. I can't do that.
Okay. All right, so your meaning theirs is just more precognitive, that they get that information to help you with
right.
a future event.
And see, ghosts that I run across, because they're earthbound, like yesterday, I ran across a man that was 40 years old, a spirit. He died in 1925 when he was 40 years old. It's January, 2006, and he is still 40 years old. They don't age. They don't get older, shorter, taller, thinner, smarter. They stay identically the same. Same personality and everything. If they were a nice, sweet old lady when they died, they're going to be a nice, sweet old ghost in somebody's house. If they were ornery and grumpy when they were alive, that's the same way they're going to be as a ghost.
Wow. So but that's always a way that they will maintain for you.
Correct.
Okay.
And as far as not being able to speak to, or not doing it, I questioned that myself, why I didn't have to talk out loud. And I finally got my answer about 20 years ago. Language is no barrier. I can go to any country and talk to a ghost that has died and not crossed over in their language, and I understand it perfectly. It sounds like English to me.
Okay, so they do speak to you. They don't do like signs or that. So it's not like John Edward or a different type of appearance. These are actually talking to you. Okay.
Exactly. And because they're mediums, they only talk to people that have crossed over.
Gotcha.
And they get everything in symbolism. Oh, my way's so much easier.
Sure. Now, you explained briefly to me that before the show, that you're able to actually see in someone's home if there's a spirit there.
Correct.
Now, is that a form of like remote viewing, or are you actually seeing through the ghost or the spirit's eyes?
I used to think I was seeing through their eyes because I could see the room that they were in. But then I can tell you if it's a man or a woman and what they have on. And so, no, for some reason, and it was actually like Plan B. When somebody would call me up and invite me to their house because they thought they had a ghost, they had seen some show on television. And, of course, every time somebody watches one of these, goofy movies on television, every symptom that they think they've got in their house, from flies in the attic to, who knows what. So my bleeding walls shouldn't worry me right away? I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Use better paint. What could I say? So I would, drive to people's houses, and usually 60% of the time, 70% of the time, there were no ghosts. And this one particular day, I went to 3 different houses, and I was not living in the city that I did this. It was like an hour-and-a-half drive, got caught in a snowstorm. Anyway, to make a long story short, I had definitely decided I was not going to do this anymore. And my husband was really happy with it because he never knew where I was. Mm-hmm. And I'm in strangers' houses. And so I just went to bed that night and said my prayers, and I said, no, by the way, God, I'm not doing this anymore. If you want me to keep doing this, you're going to have to come up with Plan B. And I went to sleep, and that was it. And it was maybe a month later, I got a phone call, not like it is now, and this lady said to me, I think I have a ghost in my house. And I said, and why do you think that? And all of a sudden, I start seeing inside of her house. And it was freaking me out.
Oh.
And I said, wait a minute. I said, do you have a blue vase sitting on a gray stone hearth that has peacock feathers in it? Now, why would I ever know that? And she goes, yeah. I said, oh, my gosh, you do? She said, yeah. I says, I think I should come to your house. She had a ghost.
That's awesome.
So now if somebody calls and I can see inside their house, they've got a ghost. Some people won't even call me now till they clean their house.
I don't blame him. Tim's sweating that you might see the furry handcuffs hanging off of his bedpost.
You don't want to see my house, trust me.
You're listening to the Darkness on the Edge of Town radio show. Tonight's guest is Ann Winkowski, the inspiration for the television show Ghost Whisperer.
Riveted to the edge of your seat? Good. There's more to come from the Darkness on the Edge of Town.
I'm Teresa from White Bear Lake, and I needed to refinance my home and do it fast. I contacted a lot of mortgage companies that made promises and commitments that they just couldn't keep. Then I was referred to Keith Troutman. Keith was knowledgeable and worked fast. He listened to what I needed, and within 7 days, we closed on my loan. Other companies promised to save me up to $500 a month. Keith, however, found a program that was right for me and saves me over $1,300 a month. I would recommend Keith Troutman and Tri Minnesota Mortgage to anyone.
Thanks, Teresa. This is Keith Troutman, president and owner of Tri Minnesota Mortgage, and no matter what your situation is, we're here for you. We locate financing programs other brokers cannot. Most lenders use 10 to 20 investors to fund their loans. We have a national investor base of over 70 that ensures you'll get the best loan program available to meet your needs. Call me today at 952-223-5000. I know I can help. Right now, with qualifying loans, we are sending you on a 7-day cruise for 2. Certain restrictions apply. Check out our website at cruiseatclose.com for more details. Or call 952-223-5000. That's 952-223-5000.
This is Dave Schrader from the Darkness on the Edge of Town radio show. Each week, we delve into the web of the unknown and deal with a lot of scary subjects. But nothing makes my blood run colder or scares me more than dealing with technology. That's why we turn to the experts when we wanted our website for the show set up and maintained. In the studio with me is Don Raleigh, owner of Evolve Systems. Don and his exceptional staff were easy to work with and made setting up our site a breeze. Don, what is it that sets you apart from other web developers?
Well, Dave, we make your business visions come to life by creating, maintaining, and hosting all of your internet needs. We do this by listening to our clients. We offer programs and price plans to fit any budget. And Dave, I mean any budget. Call us at 651-628-4000 and put us to work for you.
Call Don at Evolve Systems, 651-628-4000. I did, and I couldn't be happier with the results.
That's because we take the ugh out of technology, Dave. Call us today at 651-628-4000 or visit us on the web at www.evolve-systems.com, serving the entire United States. That's Evolve Systems, helping you to manage change. Cheers.
If you read Taps Paramag every month, you'll be able to tell the difference between the absurd
could not go to work because Bigfoot stole my car
and the creepy. Taps Paramag takes you where few would ever go on purpose. From exclusive interviews with the cast of The Ghost Hunters to the latest trends in technology in the field of the paranormal. To join our journey, order at tapsparamag.com.
I know I didn't have an anal probe, and I know that I am not under alien control.
Now it's your turn. Strange things happen in the darkness on the edge of town.
Good evening and welcome back to the Darkness on the Edge of Town radio show. This is Dave Schrader along with my co-host Tim Dennis. This evening we have a very special guest with us, Miss Mary Ann Winkowski, Ghostbuster, paranormal investigator, and the inspiration for the television hit series on CBS, Ghost Whisperer, starring Jennifer Lovehewitt. Now, before we went away to the break, you were just explaining to us how you got these abilities where you're able to actually start seeing into people's homes.
Yes. And Mary Ann, I got to ask you, because I'm curious myself, can you actually see us in the studio we're in right now? Are there ghosts in our studio?
Everybody always wants to know that.
I gotta know. I gotta know if somebody's watching me work other than my boss.
Actually, you do. There is one ghost there.
There is?
Yes. And he's in a room that has, I've been sitting here trying to figure out what kind of room it is. It's almost like there's an old copying machine or something in there. There's boxes piled.
Yeah.
That's where he's at. He's in that room.
Can you describe him to us at all?
Yep, he's probably about 35 years old, thin, tall, longer hair, clean shaven, no glasses, jeans, t-shirt on. It's just like he's sort of hanging out. Have you guys had a lot of electrical equipment wrong in the studio?
Actually, in one of our studios, we've always been explained by the building management that it's just something having to do with the circuit, but the lights flicker.
Mm, that's him. Is that the studio that has the glass window looking in?
Describe it a little bit for me.
It's like a window wall. I don't know how to describe it. It's like you could, if you weren't.
Yep, you're on it.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that it?
You bet.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's where he was standing when we first started talking.
Huh.
Okay. Now, I know you can't speak to them because they're not face to face. Is that correct?
I'm not in the same space with them, right?
Okay.
If I was there, I could talk to him. I would find out who he is, when he died, why he's there, the whole 90 years.
And then find out how to help them. Is then that your key then is to help them pass on and move through?
Right. Another thing that I do that Jennifer or Melinda does not do on the show is that I can create that white light that they did not walk into when they died.
Okay.
And I watch them walk into it, and when I can't see them anymore, they're gone. You guys have heard of near-death experiences where you see a bright white light but you don't die?
Sure.
Okay, when you die for real, that white light is right there for you. It's there for everybody. Everybody attends their funeral, too. They're usually standing close to the foot of the casket. And women will, check out the flowers and what their hair looks like and what the clothes are. The guys, it's a guy thing. They have to count how many cars in the funeral procession to the cemetery. The more, the better. And the little prayer service that the priest or the minister has at the cemetery, as soon as that little service is over, these spirits will normally walk into that bright white light. Now, I'm Catholic, so that means heaven to me. But, everybody's got their own perception of what that is, crossing over the other side, eternal rest, out of here, over there, whatever.
Sure.
But nobody's pulling you, nobody's pushing you. When you're alive, you have free will. You have free will when you're dead, too. And
Really?
if you don't want to go to that light, you don't have to go.
That was my question. I was wondering why would they be stuck here? Do some of them just not know they're dead?
Oh, how do you not stand at the foot of your casket and know you're dead?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nah.
I'm sorry. I'll go
really,
stand in the
really,
corner for
really.
asking a stupid question.
No, but really, okay, suicides hardly ever cross over. They definitely have some unfinished business.
Okay.
Somebody that's murdered. They're not going to cross over till they tell somebody who killed them. A young mother steps off a curb and gets hit by a bus. She's got a 2-month-old at home and a 4-year-old. You seriously think she's going to leave her kids?
I gotcha.
Okay, so and people can be attached to their houses, to their jewelry. Don't ever buy diamonds from an estate sale. I will almost guarantee you'll bring home a ghost with you.
Wow, Tim, you better go return that.
All that bling bling I got at home has got to go.
I told you getting Snoop Dogg's ring wasn't a good idea. No. Hey, now, real quickly, in the event that you can't see into their homes at this moment, does that assure the listeners that there's definitely not haunted, or can the spirit just be missing or not there today?
Okay, if somebody came into your house yesterday smoking a cigar, and I came into your house today, you know how I could probably still catch a whiff of the cigar smell?
Gotcha.
Okay, if a earthbound spirit has been in somebody's house within the last 3 or 4 days, I can usually pick up, residue from them being in the house.
Okay. Could you give us an explanation for the listeners? I know we've got a bunch of new people that are getting involved in the paranormal. What is the explanation of an earthbound spirit?
Okay, well, go back to the cemetery. That spirit has decided they are not going into that light. That light will stay with that spirit for about 72 to 80 hours after the cemetery. That light's going to keep getting smaller and smaller. At some point, they need to go into it or they're going to lose it. They lose it, now they are earthbound. Those are the spirits I see and talk to.
So then you're the one that can reopen the garage door and help them park, is what you're saying.
Right.
Gotcha.
Now, let me give you a nice little tidbit here.
Okay.
If you dream of anybody that's died, that means they've crossed over. Earthbound spirits, it's very, very, very difficult for them to get into a dream. So anybody that you've dreamt of, that means they are where they are supposed to be.
Okay, great. Now, do you find that in your experiences checking these out, that people are more haunted, or are they places and structures that are haunted?
Okay, that was one of the great lines from the first show. People aren't haunted, places are, or something like that,
right.
She said. I find it equally. There are ghosts that can be attached to a person. They can go every place that person goes. There can be ghosts that just like to stay in a certain house, and they don't necessarily have ever had to own that house. I had some lady call me the other day, and she said to me, do I have any ghosts in my house? I said, yeah, you've got 2. And she said, I'm moving in 2 weeks. I says, why aren't they moving with you? I mean, who's going to tell them they can't? I mean, they can.
What if you put a sign out on the door, no ghosts allowed? Will that work for you? Not so much? Okay.
No.
They just don't follow any rules.
They don't listen to anybody.
Now, can you walk us through your first recollections of having this ability, and were you frightened when you first realized that you had it?
My grandmother realized that I could see and speak to earthbound spirits when I was 2.5 years old. So, no, that was normal for me. It is still normal for me to see ghosts everywhere. The question the answer to your question is, I was 7 when I realized nobody else could do it.
Oh.
I was in Catholic school, and I'm definitely old enough where the nuns were in full habits, and, they called them lavatories back then, not bathrooms. I have no clue why. And so we were coming back from a lavatory break, and I looked down the hall, and I saw this rumbled, disheveled-looking spirit of a man standing behind one of the little girls that was walking down the hall. And I said to Sister, as we got close to the classroom, I said, Sister, I said, there's, this ugly-looking man standing back there behind Susie, and she looks down the hall, and she looks at me, and she looks down the hall, and she looks at me, and she pats me on the top of the head, and she goes, oh, that's just her guardian angel. Now, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Catholic grade schools or not,
right.
But hanging on the wall are these beautiful pictures of guardian angels with wings.
Sure.
And, holding beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed children. Which
See, that's just Hollywood.
That.
Dang it.
Right.
Not only do actresses have to be skinny, but guardian angels got to be pretty. Is that the story?
Right. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, didn't look like a guardian angel to me.
Right.
But, I'm in first grade, so I thought, oh, when I go home, I got to ask somebody about this one.
Sure.
I forgot all about it.
Wow.
It was about 3 weeks later, we're out in the playground, and we had a recess, and again, the nuns used to guard us, and I have no clue from what, but they were out there guarding us, and I saw this guy shows up again. And I thought, oh, I never asked anybody about him.
Are you sure they just weren't filming an episode of Columbo?
Yeah, well, you know what? Pretty close. Pretty close. So I looked around, and oh, no, it was the same nun guarding us.
Sure.
And I'm thinking, oh, here we go. So I walked over to her, and I said, Sister, I says, that yucky man is standing behind Susie again. And she looked at me, she looked over at Susie, she looked at me, and I probably would have been okay, but about that minute I stopped my foot on the ground, and I said, and don't tell me that's an angel. Oh, boy, was I in trouble. So that's when I realized nobody else could see him.
Excellent. Now, I've got to ask, too, in the show and in movies, the expectation is to send the spirit to the light.
Correct.
And there are times that are there times that light's just not an option, and they've either stayed too long or they have reservations downtown instead of the penthouse suite, and they just don't want to check in?
Okay, I have left. But first of all, because I go to a lot of funerals, I probably go to 14, 15 funerals a month.
Holy cow.
All right. Well, these are total strangers. People invite me to the funeral to talk to their loved one for the last time. Think about it for a minute. A lot of times that, more than just where's the key to the safety deposit box, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I've been to funerals over the years where there were killers that were standing at the foot of their casket in spirit form, or child pedophiles. They all have the white light there.
Really?
Now, in my way of thinking, and it works in Marianne's world, okay?
Sure.
Everybody walks into that white light, and I truly believe somebody's standing there with a clipboard, because I don't think everybody's gone to the same place.
Sure.
But the white light is there for everybody, whether you choose to go into it or not. Again, it's free will. It's whether you want to go or not. And again,
That seems kind of a crazy way to cheat. You can do all kinds of naughty and nasty stuff here and die and just decide not to go to hell.
Yeah, well, like I said, but what happens once you walk into that light? I have to believe that everybody's going, where they need or deserve to go.
Right.
Marianne, do you get the feeling that people know where they're going to go, and maybe they're just not wanting to do it?
Oh, I think that's the reason sometimes why people don't go. And I'll tell you, and it's and this is probably like a crazy thing to say, but one of the greatest funerals to go to is the funeral of an atheist, because there they are standing there, which, like, oh, wait a minute, I thought it was just going to be a pile of ash, and here I am standing here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just heard the sadomasochistic side of our guest this evening. She loves when the atheists are screwed. That's good.
Well, it's not the way that they're screwed.
Right.
It's just that they are, they've had a belief system their whole life that there's nothing after you take your last breath. There's nothing, and here they are.
Wow.
And, I mean, in a sad, it's sort of sad, though, too, because, it's like, gee, what did they do there for their whole life? And now they're really afraid to go.
So I guess with my other question, when I said that, has it ever just been too long? I know you said the light will get smaller and smaller to go through. It's never really too long, because as long as there's somebody like you that can reopen that light.
Well, okay, let me give you a little hint here, too. Okay, you die.
What are you telling me?
You decide you're going to stick around and give somebody grief, which I wouldn't recommend. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now.
My ex-wife's got it coming, though. Okay.
Okay. So you decide, whatever.
Sure.
So now, okay, so this being dead and being stuck isn't what it's cracked up to be, so you decide you need to go. You got to go look for Mary Ann? No. All you have to do is go to a funeral home that has a service going on. That spirit standing at the foot of their casket has that bright white light around them. That is not an individual light. That's a universal light.
Oh,
so all you got to do is go bebopping into that light, and you're going to be where you need to be. So none of your listeners should ever be stuck. Now, they all know how to cross over.
So, but if I go and jump on the back of a really good Christian, I'm not going to make it to where he's going if I was the atheist, do you think?
Probably not.
Jeez, that's a jip. Have you ever had an experience where you were just unable to help a spirit crossover?
You know what?
That wanted to?
Sure. When I go into people's houses, I have to, they still have free will. If they don't want to go, they don't have to go. And I can't grab them and throw them in.
I mean, more along the lines, has there been a spirit that, feels that they're done now and want to cross over, but just for some reason, they can't? You open the white light, and maybe it's like a bug shield, and they get deflected off it, or they can't enter. Is there any?
No, I've never seen one that can't enter if they choose to.
Okay.
No. I think there's a lot of different belief systems with so many different, nationalities and everything. I know that Native American Indians, there is a group of them, or there's always some in a tribe that is their job, never to go into the light. That is their, job to stay and protect the earth.
Oh, all right.
So, but every belief system is, there's a sect of Orientals that stay on the earth, earthbound for like a year. They're not allowed, in their religious belief system, they're not allowed to cross over till they have been earthbound for a year.
Wow.
So, it's amazing, what belief systems people have as far as this goes.
Now, can we be haunted by the spirit of somebody that has crossed over? Can they come back? I know that's what the mediums can talk and deal with, or are they talking to them more like their long-distance call in heaven or window conferencing here? No.
Once you've crossed over, you can come back and forth with no problems, but you don't cause any of the problems in houses that earthbound ones do. The earthbound spirits do cause problems in houses. Once they're crossed over, do not cause any problems. And again, it's really interesting. You can say your grandma died, and you were really close to her.
Sure.
And so before you go to bed tonight, tell yourself, if I dream of grandma tonight, I'm going to talk to her. And tomorrow night before you go to bed, say to yourself, if I dream of grandma tonight, I'm going to talk to her. Eventually, when you dream of grandma, you can actually lay there and talk to her in your dream. Just like we're talking, you can do that. People don't realize that. And dreams, they come in dreams because we are comfortable with that. You dream of grandma tonight, you're going to get up tomorrow morning and you're going to call your mom and you're going to go, geez, I had the best dream of grandma last night. She was cooking chicken soup and she looked so happy and healthy. You get up tonight to go to the bathroom and you see grandma sitting on the foot of your bed, you're going to freak out. Right. That's not acceptable. So that's why they come in dreams.
So they come in dreams just to make it more acceptable for your reality.
Right.
So they're not scaring you. It's a more comforting thought.
But now, okay, if I come to your house and you just finished cooking a big spaghetti dinner with a lot of garlic, okay, the minute I smell that garlic, I'm going to be, right back in my grandmother's kitchen.
Right.
Her house reeked of garlic, okay? I go into a mall, and a man walks by me wearing Old Spice aftershave. My father's been dead for 35 years already. Every time I smell that, I think of my father.
See, I would have been put back in a disco era, I guess. But we've got a special guest with us, Mary Ann Winkowski, paranormal investigator, ghostbuster, and the inspiration for the hit television show, Ghost Whisperer. You're listening to the Darkness on the Edge of Town radio show. Jeff Rusterholtz with Edina Realty understands that the housing market is changing, and he's prepared to work with you to put together an aggressive plan to ready your home and help you sell quickly. It's Jeff's goal as your full-service real estate agent specializing in the Twin Cities to provide you with superior service at all times. His local expertise and extensive real estate experience will benefit you whether you're serious about buying or selling a home. By taking time to really listen to your needs and desires, Jeff Rusterholtz with Edina Realty will help you find the home of your dreams. And if you're selling a home, his real estate expertise and many effective marketing programs will give you the exposure and edge you need to sell your home quickly and for top dollar. Jeff prides himself on providing unparalleled service, and he looks forward to developing a long-term relationship with you. Visit him online at movewithjeff.com for more details, or call 651-690-8479 to get started on securing your future. That number again, 651-690-8479.
Would you like to contact a loved one who has crossed over to the other side? Do you worry about your own health issues or those of a loved one? Are you curious about your relationships and your career? If any of these questions have crossed your mind recently, then this is an experience that you cannot miss. Come join me, Jessalyn Devereaux, on Saturday, April 1st, as I host the Meet the Psychics, Meet the Healers Day at the Minneapolis Learning Annex. Just go online today to www.professionalangel.com to register and find out more. Renew yourself with this day that's sure to inspire miracles and change your life. The day is filled with psychic readings, seminars, and spiritual healing sessions. Plus, everyone who attends will receive a free, complimentary mini-reading. So go online today to www.professionalangel.com or call 651-208-6452. That's 651-208-6452.
If it weren't for ghosts and aliens, these guys wouldn't be getting any action at all.
Yeah, baby.
I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Welcome back to the Darkness on the Edge of Town with Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis.
Good evening and welcome back to the show with us. This evening we have a very special guest. Her name is Mary Ann Winkowski. She's a renowned paranormal investigator and ghostbuster and the actual inspiration for the hit CBS TV series Ghost Whisperer on Friday evenings. Just before we went to break, she was filling us in a little bit about crossing over to the other side and how it's happened and why people are earthbound and why they decide to stay and go back. What we've done is we're going to take a call right now, Mary Ann. We've got actually a local celebrity on the phone with us. Her name is Annie Wilder. She's an author of a book called House of Spirits and Whispers, and Annie has related her story about her haunted home with us and has some questions for you to see if maybe there's something you can clue into in her home and see what's still going on there. Annie, are you with us?
Yes.
Great, Annie. Thanks a lot for joining us. Annie, this is Mary Ann Winkowski. Mary Ann, this is Annie, and I'll shut up and let you do the rest.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Mary Ann. Well, I have a couple of questions. I'm pretty familiar with some of the spirits in my house, but I did have a Ghostbuster come back a few years ago, and she spoke to the main ghost, and that's an old guy named Leon. And he told her that things had happened in an upstairs back bedroom, and it sounded sort of mysterious. And he said he was staying in the house to protect people who lived there. And I'm wondering, he wouldn't tell Echo what had gone on in the back bedroom, and I'm wondering if you can get some more information on that.
Okay, first of all, you are calling me from your house, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you a couple questions first. How many people actually live in your house?
Living people?
Yes.
One. Just me.
Just you are in the house. Okay. Right. There are 3 spirits in the house.
Okay.
And That's who is there right now. Now, I cannot talk to them over the telephone. There is an older man in the house. He is not in an upstairs room right now, though. Do you have, what's that little room downstairs in the basement area where it's real wet?
That is the laundry room, and it's right off a dirt room that was an important room for Leon.
Okay, well, that's where he's at right now. He's in that room.
Cool.
So there's a woman that is standing. She's up a flight of steps, and at the top of the steps, there's a window.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where that is?
Yep, that's at the top of my steps.
Okay, that's where she's standing right now. Now, she is very interesting. She is dressed probably from the 1920s or 30s.
Oh,
and I don't think she was any part of this original house. I get the feeling that she followed you from somewhere.
Okay.
The other one that's there is a younger man. He's in his, maybe late 20s. And he is almost dressed like, I want to say Amish, but at the turn of the century, everybody looked like that.
Right.
So I don't think he's Amish, but that's the way he's dressed. And do you live on a main street?
I live, the street that goes alongside my house is a pretty busy road. It's one of the main shortcuts. Okay. He likes to sit. Do you actually have, do you have a covered porch on this house? Yes.
That's where he's at. He likes to stand there on the covered porch and watch traffic go by.
Interesting.
So this is something that he's absolutely fascinated with. Now, because you have three of them in the house, and who knows who else over the years, you're also a bit of an antique collector, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could easily bring somebody home with you with that, too, especially that one mirror that has, it's square on three sides, but it's got like a scrolly top. You know the mirror I'm talking about?
I have a mirror up in the attic that actually my sister was just storing for my sister. I'd have to go look at it more closely.
Okay, I think you have somebody that's attached to that mirror that comes and goes. And so it could be then, that would make sense then, if it's your sister, she may be coming between you and your sister's house.
Both of my sisters have had odd experiences in their house as well.
Okay.
With this younger fellow, do you get any feeling of whether he lived in the house at one time?
He may have been. And again, I can't tell, because if he died around the late 1800s or early 1900s, who knows what was even here back then.
Right.
I know the house is an older house, isn't it?
Yes, it was built in the 1890s for sure, and probably the 1880s.
Then he very well could be. You have an outbuilding on the property?
I have a garage that used to be like an old small barn or something.
Okay, and you have stuff stored up in the top part of that?
Yes.
Yeah. He's in there a lot, too.
Oh, so cool.
So, but that's, like I said, and right now that's all that's there. I have no way of knowing, who else, except for the woman that's attached to that one mirror.
Okay.
Now, Marianne, when you do this, are they aware that you're seeing them?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
You're almost like watching on a security monitor.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Excellent.
Right. Exactly.
Well, that's pretty amazing. I mean, from what I've read in your book, Annie, that's she described a lot of your house almost perfectly, and some of the characters that you've mentioned as well.
Yeah, right on. The woman at the top of the stairs. Two possibilities come to mind. One is that it's my grandma, and then the other is that there was a really
Can you describe what she looks like, Marianne, the woman at the top of the stairs?
Yes. Yes, but see, I don't think, well, she may be, whatever. She is probably about between 70 and 75 years old. She's not thin, but she's not heavy either. Annie, I would say she probably wears a size 10 or 12, okay?
Okay.
That size. And she has mostly gray hair. She has glasses on. She's got cute cheeks. She's got, like, little round cheeks on her. But, like I said, from the way she's dressed, you know, I would say the 20s or 30s is probably when she died. So I don't know. Now, now I'm also picking up on, where's the quilt? Where did the quilt that you have come from?
I just was given a quilt in December from my neighbor's mom.
From your neighbor's mom. Did Mom die?
No.
Oh, she's alive.
Yeah.
But there's definitely an old woman that comes through. That comes through. So maybe this ghost was wherever this quilt was, but she still comes in and out. You know, I'm really curious about something. How much heating and plumbing problems and electrical problems do you have in this house?
That's really funny. We have lots of stuff with lights going off and on in the house, but one of the main hauntings in my house, it was sort of the climax of the book, involved the radiators and some really scary, spooky whispering that seemed to come out of the radiators and pipes.
See, when you've got earthbound spirits in a house, they don't eat, they don't sleep. They need human energy to keep going. So any time that they can stress you out or aggravate you or scare you, they're getting energy from you. I do more houses where there are divorces in them because of a ghost than anything else. Have a good cry. You're exhausted after. If you've got kids in the house under the age of 10 or 12, the kids are going to have a lot of ear, nose, throat, and upper respiratory problems. They're not going to stay in their bed at night. They're going to get in bed with you every night at 2 o'clock in the morning. But adults will have a lot of unexplained headaches when they're in the house, or a lot of lower intestinal problems, or a lot of sinus problems. With 3 active ghosts in your house, my guess is that you have to be totally drained all the time, exhausted.
Well, I am a Reiki practitioner, and I do Reiki prayers every morning and every night, and I also exercise and things like that. And I do love my house, and I love the energy in my house, but I'm not home. I mean, I work outside the home, and I'm gone a lot. So
okay.
It's not like I am...
So that helps that.
Right.
Okay.
When you were talking about the quilt, this is interesting because I have a landing at the bottom of the steps, and then there's a landing at the top of the steps by this window. And the quilt, you said the woman was at the top of the steps. And this quilt, I need to take it and wash it in a front-loading washing machine, and I haven't done that yet. So it's sitting on a little bench on the landing at the bottom of the steps. So that sort of ties in, like, if she is attached to the quilt, she's within view of the quilt.
Right.
Which is in a weird spot. You know, it's not on a bed right now.
Right. But definitely, like I said, that's what you've got going on. But obviously, you know, and again, here's a really good example of everybody has different abilities and are aware of different things in their own way. You know, I see them head on, face on. I see exactly what they look like. But everybody has their own abilities in how they see them.
Great. Well, thank you. If I can mention real quickly, we do have to take a break here, and we have another caller waiting. I want to thank you very much for giving us a call today, Annie, and giving her a chance to see what she could find out for you. That was Annie Wilder, the author of House of Spirits and Whispers. You're listening to the Darkness on the Edge of Town radio show. Our guest this evening is Ann Winkowski, Ghostbuster, paranormal investigator, and the inspiration for the hit CBS TV series Ghost Whisperer.
It will keep you on the edge of your seat.
I must have drank me about 15 Dr. Peppers.
I gotta pay. Just don't get any on the floor. Hurry back. There is more to come from the Darkness on the Edge of Town.
Tri-Minnesota Mortgage was founded on one simple principle: to be your complete mortgage resource. Keith Troutman and the experts at Tri-Minnesota Mortgage will assist you with all your needs. They've built a reputation for client satisfaction and are devoted to making the mortgage process as easy as possible. You get to work with a broker that understands your needs. Finding the right loan is only the beginning. Tri-Minnesota Mortgage will assist you every step of the way to ensure smooth sailing with personal one-on-one help. I'm Dave Schrader, the host of Darkness on the Edge of Town. When I bought my new home, I turned to Keith Troutman to help me. He made what could have been a very stressful time easy and painless. He was considerate and realizes that this is more than just a job to him. It's the future for you. I recommend them to my friends, and I'm happy to recommend them to you. To take the first step to a financially free tomorrow, call 952-223-5000 or visit them on the web at cruiseatclose.com. For a fresh start, no matter what your current situation, call Keith at Tri-Minnesota Mortgage. That's 952-223-5000. As Keith says, it's your money. Keep more of it. That's Tri-Minnesota Mortgage, 952-223-5000.
Howdy, this is Don Raleigh from Evolve Systems. Evolve Systems can't help you lose weight. We don't know anything about diamonds, and we can't help you save a boatload of money on your car insurance. What we can do is help you with your merchant processing. We work with small businesses to provide credit card processing, debit card processing, gift cards, and check acceptance. Whether you need a point-of-sale system, a credit card terminal, or want to accept payments over the internet, Evolve Systems will work with your small business to find the right solution for your merchant processing needs. Ask us how you can get a free copy of QuickBooks 2006. You can reach us at 651-628-4000 or on the internet at www.evolve-systems.com. Now you have a friend. Well, not yet, but give us a call at 651-628-4000 and we can chat. Evolve Systems, where we help you to manage change. This is Don Raleigh. Cheers.
If you read Taps Power Mag every month, you'll be able to tell the difference between the absurd
Could not go to work because Bigfoot stole my car.
and the creepy. Taps Power Mag takes you where few would ever go on purpose. From exclusive interviews with the cast of The Ghost Hunters to the latest trends in technology in the field of the paranormal. To join our journey, order at tapsparamag.com.
You hear footsteps and things bumping and banging in the middle of the night. Could it be paranormal activity? Or is it just Dave and Tim raiding your fridge?
Beer.
Strange things happen in the darkness on the edge of town.
Good evening and welcome back to the Darkness on the Edge of Town radio show. My name is Dave Schrader, along with me my co-host and producer Tim Dennis. I'd like to welcome our very special guest, Mary Ann Winkowski. She's a paranormal investigator, and she is the inspiration for the television show on CBS Friday evenings, Ghost Whisperer. So keep watching, and if you do have problems or you have questions and you need her help, you can reach Mary Ann via her website, which is Maryann, that's MARYANN, Ghostbuster, GHOSTBUSTER.com, right? Is that correct, Marianne? Okay, so it's MaryanneGhostbuster.com is her website. You can access information on her and what she's able to do to help you out as well. Marianne, we have another call on the line with us. Her name is Margaret from Connecticut, and I will be quiet and let you two discuss.
Hello, Margaret.
Hello.
Why don't you tell me a little bit what's going on?
Well, we have a multitude of spirits here, we think. Just a wide variety of really interesting things that happen that are verified by people who don't live here. Things like our neighbor will see somebody in the window and say, oh, who was that was visiting? And we didn't have anybody like that here. Lights going on in the middle of the night when nobody's around, that sort of thing.
Okay, now you are calling from your house, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now how many people actually live in your house?
4 people and a dog.
Okay. And how long have you lived here?
Since 1999.
Was this house vacant when you bought it?
No.
Okay. There is the only person that's there right now is an older man.
Okay.
And he is attached, or he's there because of a really, like an old, it's either an old toolbox or old hand tools.
Okay.
I don't know if anything like that was left there when you bought the house.
No.
Or if somebody in the house collects something like that.
Possibly.
But and I don't know where you would keep tools like that. I don't know if there's a workplace in the basement or outside. But
in the
he
garage.
definitely comes through the house, and I will tell you this, he's not real fond of the dog. He likes to scare the dog, tease the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And there are probably times that the dog can be sound asleep and all of a sudden the dog will just jump up like somebody kicked him or pinched him or something.
Yes, he does do that all the time.
Yeah. He's old enough where he's from that train of thought where a dog belongs penned up outside tied to a box, not in the house.
Now, Marianne, if I could ask real quickly, you said that he's tied to old tools. Does it necessarily have to be his tools, or like the last caller with Annie, the gentleman just like to stand out on the porch to watch the traffic? Could he just be that maybe he was a handyman in his last incarnation here, and he's just more like to hang out by the tools, or he's interested in the tools that they have?
Right, but he looks like he probably died in the 50s. Okay. And these are old carpenter hand tools. Mm-hmm. And I never know what that one is called. It has like a knob on it.
A plane?
Yes, that's what it's called. Yes. And so
and my husband has gotten one of those.
If it wasn't his, he really likes those, and that's where he hangs out.
Okay.
What was that, Margaret?
I said my husband did get one of those at a tag sale about a year or two ago.
That was just the best bargain he got, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Probably brought home this little man with him.
Oh, joy.
Well, excellent. Did that answer your question for you then, Margaret?
Well, I was wondering about, we do have, or have had a young girl spirit here, and I don't know if she's still here or not.
I'm not picking up on any energy from any children in the house, not children ghosts. Okay. There is a woman that comes through on occasion, but she hasn't been there probably for about 3 days.
Okay.
And it's really hard because a lot of times you could just have... You know how in neighborhoods, how there's always like one neighbor that seems to be like the mayor of the street that knows everybody's business and
mm-hmm.
what's going on? Well, you get this nosy ghost neighbor thing going too, where you've got one ghost that just snoops through everybody's houses. So maybe she stays in your house for 3 or 4 days and goes next door for 3 or 4 days.
Oh, okay.
And so, and this could be the case too. Plus, ghost children. Now, kids that always talk about their imaginary friends, or you think they're their imaginary friends, are usually not imaginary friends. Those
mm-hmm.
They usually are really, truly playing with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But your child gets older every year. The ghost does not.
Mm-hmm.
So when your child was 3 or 4 or 5 years old and had an imaginary friend, they probably didn't have an imaginary friend. It really was a ghost. But as your child gets older, the ghost doesn't think it's fun to stay around anymore. The ghost is only 6 years old, and now your kid's 8 or 9. They're going to leave and go to a house where there's kids more their own age.
Okay.
So that's why ghost kids don't usually stick around in houses that long.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your call this evening, Margaret.
Thank you.
And we'd like to thank Mary Ann Winkowski. She is a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator. You can check her out on her website at maryannghostbuster.com, and we'll have a link to that on our website. You're listening to the Darkness on the Edge of Town radio show. I'm your host, Dave Schrader, along with my co-host, Tim Dennis. We thank you for joining us. And Mary Ann, we loved having you on the show, and we'd love to have you back again in the future.
Okay, let me know.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Darkness on the Edge of Town radio show.
You're listening to AM 1470 KLBB, Brooklyn Park.